I've got one that can see.
We all remember that weekend back in January when the Congresswoman was shot point blank in the brain. It was so hard to imagine back then that she would even survive. But this remarkable woman is full of spirit and fight. She and her husband, astronaut Mark Kelly, have written a book about her miraculous recovery called Gabby, and she sat down with Diane for her first interview.
Not just the Democrats, but the Greens, the Libertarians, and the Vegetarians. I want to thank each and every one of you.
Good morning, everyone. Buenos dias.
This is a chutzpah to be able to stand up and just say it like it is.
There she is, vibrant, spirited. Someone called Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords the most positive person in Congress.
I never said I was a Democrat because the rest of those
Then, seconds after these pictures were taken, on January 8th, a man aimed a Glock 19 at her head and 3 feet away pulled the trigger.
Stop.
An ABC News special.
We are following a developing story.
A shooting at a grocery store.
12 people were injured. We're hearing.
Through all these months, we knew her husband, astronaut Commander Mark Kelly, was there holding her hand in the hospital.
All right, how about that thumbs up?
What we didn't know is that there would be hours of videotape of an astounding, determined journey.
Stop.
Perhaps Giffords is in fact faking her condition of being someone who survived a gunshot to the head. The bullet, apparently, or according to official accounts, hit her left side of the brain, which would, because it's crisscross, would affect the right side. And I'm going to show a video where, this is her first reappearance. Her arm is obviously incapacitated. In fact, it's flaccid, and that's really important because what I want to point out is that, first off, I have to say that when it comes to brain injury, it's way up in the air. The brain is plastic, which means that almost anything can happen. But I do want to say that what tends to happen in such traumatic brain injuries is that there's abnormal posturing. Rather than a very flaccid state. That there's abnormal posturing rather than a very flaccid state. Now, flaccid state could occur, but I just want to show that it's occurring despite what is, I think, more likely to occur, which is a posturing. And here are some pictures of people who are expressing the form of posturing called decorticate. And that would be, as you can see, this flexion, this rigidity that occurs, and it primarily has to do with a certain set of muscles firing while other ones are not. And you could almost say that basically there's a confusion going on as a result. the injury to the brain, where other muscles, as you can see, Giffords is walking around, other muscles are firing, and it would misfire, and that would cause this rigidity rather than simply not fire at all. It would misfire, and that would cause this rigidity rather than simply not fire at all. So from Gifford's state, you could say that, well, her muscles are not firing at all. And that's important, because for her muscles not to be firing at all, it would be sort of hard for that to occur. It would be hard for that to occur, because it would be like almost surgical at that point, where you're actually sort of affecting just the arm, because there's another effect that occurs as a result of brain injury, which is called hemi-neglect or hemispatial neglect. And this is the result of not even being able to notice things on the side that the brain injury occurred, or in other words, on the opposite side, where you're having symptoms of the brain injury, you're not actually able to even notice things over there. There's actually just a very broad spectrum of problems you're going to have on that side. It wouldn't just be your arm. It wouldn't just be your arm. It wouldn't just be your arm. Now, here I guess are some pictures of people who had hemispatial neglect, and they were attempting to draw something and they couldn't do it. Someone very close to me has basically this problem as a result of a severe brain injury, and I kind of know what to expect out of a brain injury, but this is a gunshot wound. This is much more severe than just a stroke. And as you can see, like other people who have severe brain injuries, they're in very I just want to point out that she is in very good shape. I'm wondering how many neurologists out there would be very interested in how somebody was able to recover it, because it is just absolutely amazing. I think it was I don't know, is this 3 or 6 months? I don't know when she showed back up, or when these ABC videos are being taken, which is still very good shape. Especially having your eyes open. That's very hard to have happen, I think. Okay, but obviously, if there's a lot of brain damage, there's obviously going to be a lot of symptoms. So let me just point out that what we don't see is hemi-neglect from her, or hemispatial neglect. She's very easily noticing things on that side. She's actually able to turn. She turns very quickly, reacts very quickly to that side. She can hear things. People actually have a hard time hearing things from that side. And that I think helps back up the fact that there's that she might be faking it. And when I say she's faking it, it's almost like I'm kind of leaving up for debate, like she's being forced to fake it. Yeah, so I went over how she's not posturing and how she doesn't experience hemi-neglect. It's obviously hemi-neglect of the arm, but not to such an extent that it's everything. Now, she does have, according to this video, she's limping on her leg, like she has a hard time with her leg, but the fact that she's able to stand on it, that's a really big deal. The people who coached her did not have a good grasp, other than to say, okay, you're not going to be able to use one side of your body. And so their response to that was, let's just make sure that she just stays limp. The problem is that, it's not consistent with what normally happens. It's not consistent with what normally happens. What normally happens is you get, if you're having this hemi-neglect, you're going to have more than just your arm and your leg aren't being used. You're going to have a problem turning your head. In fact, your head's more likely to crimp up and look off, and stay focused on the other side, the side that it can pay attention to. You're going to have a hard time noticing somebody, and in fact, you're going to have a hard time smiling. You're going to have a hard time smiling because one side of your face will be paralyzed. And but But what I want to say is that this is something to look out for. Those people, you know, the first thing that hits you, any normal person, is, I can't believe she survived a gunshot wound to the head. The next thing is, you know, do I believe that she has this, you know, somewhat rare instance of just only flaccidity in her arm? I mean, because she's obviously using her right leg enough to be able to stand on it. I mean, you can't do that if your right leg is flaccid. And not only that, you know, why is it flaccid rather than posturing? Why is her face, you know, pretty much still symmetrical, and she's able to notice things on that side? Statistically, you know, the odds are kind of in the favor of the conspiracy theorists. The people who coached her did not have a good grasp other than to say, okay, you're not going to be able to use one side of your body.
I witnessed the Gabrielle Gifford shooting in 2011. What I know about it is that there were no bullet holes. None. There wasn't a single bullet mark, hole on anything.
Stop.
That kid was firing off. This guy who got that kid to the ground was dangerous. I mean, a skilled person. So skilled, it looked orchestrated. I saw that. I saw it. Point of this is that there were no bullet holes. No glass blown out in the store. These things, I mean, I think what I witnessed was theater. It looked like choreography, like a dance, like everybody just fell at the same time, like on cue.
All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts.
No less heroic is the second person to get a COVID-19 jab, an 81-year-old man named William Shakespeare.